Welcome, I have another craft project. I was going through my craft stash and I found this wooden bowl. And I also picked up a pack of beautiful napkins at a gift shop recently, and I thought, let's decoupage this bowl and turn it into something really pretty. So let's get started and let me show you all the things you're going to need for this project. Alright, let's look at the things that I'm using for this project. I picked up this old bowl in my craft stash. It's pitted and in bad shape, but I think we can turn this around. I bought these napkins, this beautiful decorative napkins at a little gift shop I like to go to, and I will leave a link below where you can order these online, but it just speaks fall to me with the mushrooms, the ferns, and that beautiful bird in the middle. And this is what we're going to be putting inside of that bowl using Mod Podge. So the first step in the process is to use some chalk paint. I'm using the plaster color because that matches the background. I'm going to be using some Mod Podge. And so let's just get started. It's really pretty simple. There's no sewing in this, y'all. I know I do a lot of rope bowls, but this is one that if you're a non-sewer, you're going to love this project because there's no sewing involved. So we're going to take that chalk paint and just paint over this bowl. And I did 2 coats on the front and the back. Just a nice thin coat. It just is perfect. You don't have to sand. You don't have to worry about any stains. The chalk paint covers everything nicely. So I'm going to finish up doing both sides and let it dry overnight. Now, once it dried, I used some avocado acrylic paint, and I'm going to go around that lip of the bowl just to kind of add an accent color. And this is going to match the napkin nicely. So I'm just going to go around that whole rim, and then I did turn it over and paint the back side with this same green. And it just really looked really nice when I finished with that. So I'm just using acrylic right on top of the chalk paint. Now the next step is to take the napkin, and it is a 2-ply napkin, so I did peel the back ply off, and I'm just kind of cutting out my design in sections. It is so much easier to Mod Podge this right onto your surface if you use smaller sections. Now you don't have to worry about detail cutting because I'm using the same color that's in the background of the napkin I painted the bowl. So it's going to kind of disappear once we glue it on. So I'm just placing these so I can match up that pattern. Some of it will go off the edge. That's fine. I can trim that up. And I want to get it in place, and I will go back and add more pieces to the end. But once I get it in place, how I think it's going to look, I'm going to go ahead and start one section at a time applying the Mod Podge. Now, because this is a tissue napkin, it's best to apply the Mod Podge straight to the bowl. If this were fabric, you could do it to the fabric, but it is just so delicate once you pull that second ply off that you've got to be really careful. So put the Mod Podge right onto the bowl. And then you carefully take the piece. This is why you do it in sections. It's just so much easier to work with. And just tap it down very lightly. I'm not using a lot of pressure because I do not want to tear the napkin. And it may wrinkle a little bit. That is fine. So I'm going to do this piece, and then I'm going to do a side piece, and then I'm going to go over with the Mod Podge and coat on top. Now, got that piece laid down, and we'll start on our second piece, just pressing it down very, very lightly. So over to the side, I'm adding some more Mod Podge, and then we'll take the fern and mushroom piece and lay it down. And I kind of matched it up just like it was on the original napkin. All right, now I'm going to take that Mod Podge and go ahead and seal the top before it dries. So I take my paintbrush and I'm going over, and I'm going to catch those seams with some glue So you rub back and forth, and then you turn and you move up and you catch those seams with the glue so that it doesn't come off. And just coat the whole thing, and when it dries you will not even be able to see those cut lines. So I did this with the whole project. Got everything in place. I added some greenery at the top and the side, a couple of honeybees, and now I'm going to add one more top coat to the whole thing. And that is going to seal it in place. And I actually did seal all around the green part and on the back. It just adds a nice finish and a little bit of a sheen to it. Alright, so once it's completely coated, you let it dry. It'll dry in about an hour. Mod Podge is a very fast drying glue. So after about an hour or two, it's completely dried. And I'm going to go ahead now and embellish it with some reindeer moss that I picked up at Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to hot glue this in place right along the edge there. Just little sections at a time. It's just so much easier to work in small sections with hot glue. And then just using my fingers, I tap it right into place. So I am going to move that moss all the way around the bottom, kind of give it a 3D effect. And it just looks so pretty while I was doing this. Alright, once I got all the moss in place, I thought it needed a little bit more embellishing, so I did find in my craft stash some acorns and also a little floral pick that had pine cones in it with the same colors that was in this napkin print. So I'm going to hot glue some pine cones and some pretty little picks all down around the bottom. See how much better that looks already? Alright, there goes the little pine cone picks with some berries on it. And so I just decorated the bottom just to add a little bit more detail to it. And here is the finished piece. Boy, that doesn't look like the same wooden bowl, does it? And I love all the little acorns and pine cones at the bottom. I am standing it up with the plate stand. You can see that green looks really pretty on the back. And just simple things, just some napkins, some paint, and some Mod Podge. So it wasn't a lot of expense. I've got plenty of napkins to do other projects. I want to do another tray, wooden tray with this. So I was real tickled with how this turned out. I kind of staged it in different places in my house so you could see what it looks like. You could put a D-ring hook on the back and hang it on the wall, but I thought it turned out great. I can't wait to make some more things with these napkins. They are so pretty. I do have a rope bowl in the future using this napkin. So stay tuned for that. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And as always, thank you for visiting, and I hope you had a very blessed day.